Someone has raised children all the way, say, to university. And these are stories that happen.
Yeah.
You've raised children, you have a happy family, father, mother, and children, like 3 kids, for example. And then after they are done with school, you get to learn credibly that they are not your biological children, but you've raised them knowing that they are your biological children. As, say, a man in this case, what are you supposed to do?
Okay. Now, you said until university. I want to change your question a little bit, if you'll allow me,
It's okay,
because
it's okay.
usually there's the age of 18 and below. Those are the ones who will be considered children.
Yes.
So you have your 18-year-old and your 17 and your 10-year-old, and you've been raising them.
Yes.
And they know you as daddy.
Yes,
all
yes,
right?
yes. Yes.
So you have acquired parental responsibility over them by that fact alone. Okay?
Yes.
Then you discover that it has all been a lie. The law does now, there's a moral question again, because a lot of dads who will be found in that situation are not ready to let go. Because man, the investment, the bonding, for all intents, these have been your children, correct? And
Yes.
if you're just a normal, ordinary adult person here,
Yes.
chances are you want to fight for them simply because of what kind of upheaval will be caused by them now, by you now disowning them.
Yes.
Okay? Now, you acquire parental responsibility when you've been the person who has been, say, maintaining them over the years.
Yes.
And you can't just get rid of it just like that because of the discovery. However, if it is a pure case of deception, then you have avenues. And of course, what will be weighed is, what's the best interests of these children? Because maybe you'd be going and saying, I didn't sign up for a lie like this, and the law would listen. I mean, it does have a provision for listening because it's the issue of deception. But by and large, often what will happen is, these days there's a lot of mediation that goes on in the family court.
Yes.
Yeah, we have instances where maybe the fellow who was deceiving, he's at large.
Yes.
If the children are not yours and we've been raising them, there's somebody else who's at large.
Yeah,
if they're the
main
ones who are
suspect.
claiming, would have to check at the very end of settling this thing, what's the best interest for these children? You have to consider the upheaval, the confusion, the stress, just the difficulty that you'd be throwing them into by some disowning of a parent who, this is all that, remember, they're not part of the lie. They're just products of it. Yeah? So it can't be for them, it can't be their burden to carry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, just like that. You don't wake up and start making your own children. Like, that's an option. Would you be judged for that?
To do
like,
what?
Hey, I've been here all this time. Now let me go make my babies now.
Now, because these ones you're considering to be what?
I'm thinking as an African, a typical African.
That
of course,
these are not really mine. They are really yours if you have acquired parental responsibility.
Now the other part of your generation. Like Sasa, now you want to create the next level of your generation. Yes, these are your children responsibly, but you've been watering seeds from elsewhere. I'm thinking as an African, yes. So yes, you can continue the responsibilities, but for, do we call it posterity?
You go and get another one
to
over
continue,
there.
To continue.
Here is the thing, Daktari. If you're going to make children, if you're going to be responsible for them, and you're not having them because of your personal interest and ego, because that's what it's sounding like.
Oh, posterity is ego.
Posterity sounds to me like ego, because who are these? And can they not? I mean, you've been raising this fellow, you've given them your support, your guidance, everything. They're an expression of the experience they've been having of you, isn't it?
I'm talking about doing it for the historians. When the historians come and they start looking for the way they do DNA for Black Americans to find out where you actually came from in Africa.
Yes.
There's a place in your family tree that you disappear, right? Doesn't everyone has a right to try to continue the family tree from there?
I think it's such a choice that you make. It's not a must that you try. It's not a must that your blood must flow through the generations. Might be a good thing if it hasn't happened. Yeah?
Yes.
And now you have a 20-year-old or a 19. So just above the age where you could even have said something about it.
Yes.
A 15 who looks to you as dad. Yes. What are you saying that you will do? that you will disown this and now you will go start again because you want your blood to be flowing in there. Doesn't make
Yes.
Too much.
Yes, you have them. Yes, you've done that, and you may continue doing that.
Yes.
But now you go back to you.
That's a personal choice, and nobody can stop you from making that personal choice. If you feel very strongly that, man, even my own, who will stop you? Provided that now when you go and you have, because most likely by the time you're getting to that situation, there's probably upheaval in the home, isn't it?
Yes.
No doubt. You've discovered the deception. Most likely maybe there's a divorce going on or someone else speaking and wondering, how are we going to resolve this?
Yes.
Now, if that marriage will not stick because of the problems that have now been discovered, and you become a free entity because you're no longer married to this one, you want to go and try your luck, you go try your luck. Just be ready to
just to
raise.
know if your nini is working. Just don't you deserve to know?
So, well, you might deserve to know, but for what reason are you having those children? So that you get to know whether your machines are working.
No, it's important.
Or is it because?
Closure.
Closure for what?
If you leave,
what, sir?
Because it means you would want to know whether the deception saved you, the deception gave you a chance to have children. You see, that's how I would investigate. I would investigate by
yourself.
Yes,
you would investigate
to get scientific evidence.
If you choose, because it's a choice you can make to investigate self, just know this, that once you have been able to confirm that, well, the machines do work and a baby is born, provided you're then ready to take responsibility for that child from the time that they start to exist until and meet their needs, I don't think anybody would.
In that case, if you have taken responsibility for people and raised them to probably adult stage, you should, in this case, you'll just be continuing the family tree.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody would jail you for that, just provided you take responsibility.
And in terms of protection, I've seen in the movies, I reference movies a lot on this show. The level of protection of children in other countries, developed countries, is way better than in Kenya. Like, I don't know of chokoras in the US, or as they call them, chokora is a little derogatory, street children. I think children are more protected in that they are taken to foster care. It's taken very seriously. If children reported their parents of having mistreated them, the government swings into action. I don't know how true that is, or that's the image they want us to see in the movies. But it's an image that you would wish to be replicated back home. Children to have a social protection system that works. How bad is ours, or how good is it? Okay,
this is what I would say. For as long as we have the kind of socio-economic situation that we have in our society, we will continue to deal with these problems of extremely vulnerable children. Because when the community itself can't feed itself, when you can't feed yourself and I can't feed myself, and then we have a child, that child is 10 times more vulnerable than I am, because I could go beg, but the child is completely vulnerable. So the first thing that we need to check on is policy to ensure the eradication of poverty, to upgrade social economies of people, to empower them to be able to take care of themselves and therefore be able to take care of their offspring, number one. And it's important, and it is not just a job of the parents, because children are actually wards of government. So it's a responsibility that government cannot shirk and say, shauri yenu mmezaa sana, endeni mkaji tetee mkaji pange. No, it's a responsibility of government as well as parents. So what would government do? I think it would be in policy making and the recognition of the vulnerability of children. So we should actually blame government, because every time someone makes a baby, you are producing a taxpayer. You're producing a taxpayer, but I'm not going to say that it's a blanket, sasa serikali nisaidia. No, what I said is that the responsibility cannot be completely shirked away by government. It belongs to the parents, and it also belongs to the government. So for parents, what you will do is to think, and I think you made that point. You can't just produce so many of them if you already know that your circumstances cannot allow for you to be able to take care of them. Okay? So personal responsibility. Now,
Yes.
but in terms of, is there infrastructure that enables me, say, from wherever I'm coming from, to at the very least be able to move across to the other side, make some money?
Yes.
Yeah, do something that will then be able to take home and feed my children.
Yes.
Yeah, or is it when I come to lay my wares, there is city council beating me, there is what have you, so making it impossible for a parent
Yes.
to take care of their children is not okay, and that goes to policy.
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, yes, it looks rosier in countries which have got their act together in terms of policies, especially that take care of the social economics, because it all begins there. If I'm able to work, I will go work. But if there are riots every day
Yes.
and there's upheaval, I'll not be able to, and as a result, my children will suffer.
Ah.